is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. I'm Jeff in for Tori. Today I'm here with my friends Al and Stephanie, and one of us gets sick. Karen's going to have to step in over there, our producer Karen. So welcome back, Karen. We want to say welcome back.
We didn't have a camera ready.
We did not. That was all ad-lib. But I wanted to ask you guys how your 4th was, because we've been off for a week. What did you do over the week?
I went to New York.
Oh, nice.
I went to go see Tina Turner on Broadway, the show. It was absolutely, honestly incredible.
Was it Tina or was it somebody playing?
It was an actress.
Okay,
it was an actress.
No, it was not, because I was wondering.
She could have. Yeah. Well, she's given up her, she's given up her rights to America, her citizenship, and she's like, I don't want it. See ya, moving to Switzerland. She's gone. She's off.
Yeah, and that's a long time for her to maybe come out at the end, I thought. Something like that.
That would have been cool. But Tina,
it was
show
brilliant.
Was good,
highly recommend. What about you guys?
How about you, Al? What did you do?
Man, just cooked out, made some of the recipes that Chef Gennard showed us. I know you're going to get to that, and my kids are here. This is my birthday week. I had the best weekend.
Buddy, happy birthday, man. I love you. I want to say happy birthday.
And Steph's the 30th, so
yeah,
back
we're birthday twins.
Yeah.
Well,
happy birthday to both of you guys.
And what'd you do, bro?
Man, I cooked out, made some of Chef Gennard's stuff, that watermelon salad with the feta cheese.
Come on.
Oh, you got to go to our website. It's the best. Hit up Grand Lake. Sam, our other co-host, told us about that. Brought the family down there. I feel like I've been off for like 3 weeks.
Do you feel refreshed after your long weekend?
Refreshed and a little scattered. I'm like, where's my mints? Where's my cup? I didn't know where anything was. You know what I mean? A little scattered. And speaking of scattered, listen, this is a hard turn to make, because over the weekend, it is close to home, as close as it gets. I'm sure you guys heard there's another deadly mass shooting at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois yesterday, which I attended in Highland Park, Illinois. Right. I'm from Highland Park, Colorado. It's very close to home, man. Right. Everything's very close to home. I was even thinking the same thing when I was at the parade before this happened. So a gunman opened fire from a rooftop with a high-powered rifle. 6 people were killed. Dozens more were wounded. Just so you guys know, this is number 309 for mass shootings on the year. 309. This is July. A 22-year-old suspect was taken into custody last night. We're not naming him or showing his picture, but he's from the area. He's an aspiring rapper who has a lot of material on social media, some of which is pretty disturbing. And like I was getting into this while I was introing this story, I was at the parade in my hometown of Colorado now, of course, thinking, man, there's a lot of people here, and having my kids close. And then when I got home, heard about this shooting.
Yeah. And Steph, I really want to hear from you, because you do have such a unique perspective, being somebody that's not from this country. But I felt like this was the last month or two, as somebody I wouldn't call myself a social butterfly, but I've been everywhere as a comic and talked to everybody because I had to. This is the first couple months where I notice where I am. I'm looking at exits. I'm looking at large groups of people. Like, they'll be like, some kind of big yoga thing in the park. I'm like, I don't know about that. And it's like, that's really, I feel like the true crime is like they've taken away our peace of mind.
Absolutely. Now, I honestly feel like, what a 4th of July. And it's so ironic. It's absolutely shocking. So a few weeks ago, I went to, there was a group of 13-year-old boys, and I went to go watch a baseball game. And we were all watching the game, and there were gunshots literally in the park. And in that moment, I was horrified. I didn't know what to do, to be honest, because never in my life have I ever been in that situation, ever. And literally, I just was in shock at the reaction of the children. They didn't run, they didn't scream, they didn't yell, they all just laid on the floor. Every single one of them, and they were from separate schools. It was a private league. They all grew up in completely different areas and just came to play this game. And I couldn't believe it. And then a few of the parents were looked around and they were like, oh no, we're good, we can continue. I was like, this is how desensitized the parents were, and Americans are in general. I was horrified. I thought, we should leave. We should go right now. Someone should be going to check that out. Should we call the police? What's going on? Gunshots in the middle of the day? It shouldn't, what is happening? So, I don't know what's going on. And I think, regulations at events like this obviously need to be stepped up. We hear about school shootings all all the time. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Now, this isn't a school shooting. Is this going to make any difference? Does it matter that it's on July the 4th?
I don't think
Is that going to change anything?
Vulnerable people.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's regulations at the event. He was on a rooftop. I don't know if there's
Well, I mean,
stopping him from getting up there. But there is
America's
stopping him
at,
from having an assault rifle, which he had.
That's
okay.
And that's my issue,
And this is
Jeff.
where now we're going to start clashing with maybe the audience.
Right. I don't even know. I don't know how many people are still not only just pro-gun. You can be pro-gun. But just the idea that anybody can get a weapon at any time, there used to be, even when there would be attacks on the public, there was like people that had to be able to know how to build a bomb, or people that had to know how to access a weapon on the black market, meaning you might have to go somewhere and get a weapon from some shady person. The bar of entry is so low now.
Exactly.
That just a random kid can order a weapon that they're using in the Ukraine right now, just have it sent to their house. They don't even have to go anywhere a lot of times to get them. So the idea that just anybody that's having a bad day can have this, it's a game changer. You cannot stop somebody that's dead set on doing something terrible, but you don't have to make it so easy, Jeff.
Right, just put a couple obstacles in people's way, and that's a deterrent.
One.
You know what I mean? Showing up on time to a job is a deterrent for some people from having a job.
No one's doing it. You've said, I've heard this so many times now. This is number 309 of this year. Nothing's being done. The deterrents aren't there. And then yet still, whenever there is a local event, whether it's an arena concert, whether it's a parade, where's the security? So if Americans aren't going to stand up and do something, if you aren't going to change your amendment laws, if you aren't going to make it harder for people to access weapons, why is no one thinking when there is a big public event? We've seen it, Vegas, here, everywhere. Why is nothing being thought
because
of?
a person's life isn't worth the money that they're making on the other side of that.
Well, it's on any side then, isn't it? Because then it's not just the government and the laws, it's also the local people at every single event. If nothing's going to change, every single local, I would say council in the UK, but, you know, bid, whatever you may call it in America, has to put laws in place. Say, we need security, everyone needs to walk through a metal detector, everyone, it has to happen.
Our Supreme Court just made it easier to get guns. That happened along with Roe v. Wade, so no one paid attention. But now it's easier to get handguns. It's easier to have access to these things. People don't even want background checks. They don't even want you to wait a day. In what situation would you trust a human being that said, I need a gun right this second? And you're like, well, can you wait till tomorrow? We're going to do your paperwork. I need it now.
Yeah.
Why? When do you ever need a gun immediately? I don't what are you going to go bear hunting this afternoon?
Think about even when you go and get your
strange.
driver's license, right? You go and do your test. You have to book for your test. It's never on the same day. It's a few weeks later. Then you do the test, and you've got to wait another few weeks for the card to be made and sent out to you. Like, that's just for your driver's license.
Right. And
so imagine, surely there should be some tests, some cautionary things.
He got his gun legal. It was all legal.
Which is
the way he got his
scarier.
gun, which is scary, right? There needs to be more obstacles and background checks, which we kind of all agree upon, and for some reason the country does not. My question to you guys is, there was red flags. He's posted it in his lyrics, in these rap songs, whatever he does. He's posted other things on social media. What do we do now? Because you can't go and arrest somebody for random threats.
Right.
But then when they follow through, they're like, well, there was a red flag. Every time there's a mass shooting, like, this kid was out of his mind since I knew him 10 years ago.
The Buffalo shooter was in chat rooms saying that he was going to do this. He did a reconnaissance mission weeks before. People had seen him walking around. The Parkland kid was unable to take a book bag to school for years because everybody knew that there was something going on with him. The Uvalde student was so mentally deranged, he was carrying around a bag of dead cats. This child, and he was able to access a gun. And this kid had a video on. Did you see it where he was
he had a music
rapper,
video.
a school shooter?
Yeah.
He rapped about it in a school. He made a video, and then he went and did it. And everybody's like, "How are we supposed to know?"
Yeah, he showed a school shooter being shot down, like laying in blood in a school. It's just like, again, why?
They're not even. It's not even a rogue attack. They're saying they're going to do it, and then they tell people they're going to do it, and then they do it.
It's just, listen, like I said, the similarities where I grew up was an hour and a half south of where this one happened in Illinois. The name's very familiar where I live now. It's till it comes on the people who makes decisions like this doorstep that the laws are going to change. And that's just the way it is. Coming up on DBL, stars took to social media to slam the 4th of July after the Roe v. Wade ruling. We want to hear from you. Did you feel like you celebrated the 4th of July like an American? And yesterday marked another year of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Speaking of America, Dr. Coley joins us in the studio to tell us how is it humanly possible to eat that many hot dogs?
Closed captioning provided by
DBL is all new every day.
All right, so yeah, I guess continue to gun talk. It's just weird. I was at the parade yesterday with my kids, right, where I live in Colorado, and it was just, I don't know, it was just very surreal being there.
Frightened?
I didn't feel frightened, but I did realize where my kids were, and I knew there was a lot of people there. And then just the divide of, I couldn't even believe they had like the Democratic Party of Colorado. Like they walked by with their, and that's fine, but then like certain people stood up and you see like other people like crossing their arms, and then the Republican Party, which was, by the way, they separated them pretty well. Like the Republican Party came through, and then other people are clapping and other people are like looking. I'm like, it's just so divided. Why can't you just be like, hey, we're all Americans, let's get on the same page, but we're so divided on some of these, just, I mean, it seems like obvious issues to me, and we're so divided and at each other's throat that why do anything if you're on the other side of any of these issues if you have half the country's support? Why fix it?
I think people
Right?
are scared overall, and so they pick a team. The same way, like almost like you would do in jail. You know, if you had to go
Yeah.
to jail,
Well,
you'd
you
be
have
like,
to.
hey, I gotta join
We got
the
it.
black gang or the white
Yeah.
gang or whatever. Because you feel like you cannot navigate in that world by yourself. And I think there's a lot of that with this too. It's just like, I am a Republican, so I believe all of these things, but I don't think
That's-
every single Republican.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy to me.
Every 18-year-old with angst should have access to a weapon.
No.
I don't
I
believe
I don't think
that.
anyone of any age should be allowed
It's
access automatically to a weapon.
insane.
Any
And it's
age.
not saying that they can't get those types of weapons. Just put some deterrence in place where
Yeah.
it makes it a little more difficult. Because I'm telling you, putting adversity in anyone's life doesn't make them get that next level. And that includes their goal of getting a gun.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why they lock doors.
Welcome back. Some celebrities were out and about like Al Jackson celebrating the 4th of July yesterday. And Steph, Candace Cameron Bure posted this pic with her pooch saying she was grateful to live in the USA. Hoda Kotb shared a sweet photo with her daughters writing Happy 4th. But some stars weren't as patriotic. In light of the recent Supreme Court decision to overturn abortion rights, Kim Kardashian wrote this message on Instagram: 4th of July has been canceled due to a shortage of independence. Sincerely, women. Katy Perry referenced her song Firework, but added that women in the U.S. have fewer rights than a sparkler, and Padma Lakshmi showed off a 4th of July themed cake with separate church and state written on it. How did you feel about this, Steph?
About the fact that you guys completely ditched the United Kingdom. Absolutely wonderful, as you can imagine. You know, I was absolutely living
That's
for
fair.
it.
Acknowledge the 4th.
No, of course we don't. It doesn't exist. It's just another day.
Yeah, but we get down on Cinco de Mayo, which isn't their Independence Day, Cinco de Mayo.
It isn't.
But
I think it's just
we go for
No,
it.
I'm very happy to be in America. I'm very blessed to live here and work with you gorgeous guys. My lovely, I was going to say husband, he's not my husband, but my boyfriend.
Oh.
No, that was a really big slip, wasn't it? Bloody hell.
Wow. Ro, did you hear that, buddy?
No, hopefully soon, one day. Yeah. But no, seriously, I feel very blessed for all that America's given me. But I do feel as though we are going backwards in time in this country. I am an immigrant. I do not have the right to vote. If I did, I would obviously use that heavily. Roe v. Wade has happened. We saw the shooting, the 309th shooting. I don't know what is going on in America in this country. And even in the UK, there was a really shocking thing I read on Instagram saying they might be removing the Human Rights Act, which is literally makes me want to vomit. So I don't know what's going on in the world right now.
I'm with you. I'm with you on a lot of that. But how do you feel, Al? Or I want to get your thought too. But I kind of want to get to I thought it was disrespectful of them to write things against America.
Yeah.
Given that my father, let me map it out for you. My father is a veteran. A lot of people in my family, veterans. A lot of people I live around are veterans, right? The lives that were lost in this country from war over time, and to disrespect those people by writing you don't have rights. I understand Roe v. Wade. I'm on their side with that. But to disrespect the country as a whole, I've been around the world. I've seen different things. Try going to China and try voicing your opinion. Go to Russia. Go to the Ukraine. Go to Afghanistan and try and voicing your opinions. The people that lost their lives for this country and what people have done for this country throughout our history, some good, some bad. That's disrespectful to those people, in my mind. If you're not allowed to call someone, if you mispronounce their pronoun, you are thrown off of Twitter because you disrespected somebody. But if you disrespect an American soldier, you're applauded by it from a certain party, from the American. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I think it's disrespectful.
First of all, I definitely get what you're saying. I've said many times on the show, being a comic that's travel overseas and talk with the real troops, not just this general punchline that we use like our troops. Like, talk to people that have been like, I haven't seen my kid in 8 months because I'm stationed in Taiwan and my kid is in Colorado. Like that, when you look in their face and you realize the sacrifice that they're doing, even though they're still alive, I can't imagine. No. I'm away from my kids for a week and I have to reevaluate myself and do some yoga, and it's real. And odds are you're coming home. Right. Yes. So I really absolutely understand what you're saying, and I also absolutely understand that things are falling apart in this country. Absolutely. It seems like around us. Yep. But the other thing I understand is that my kids are only going to be this age for a little bit longer. There are certain old folks in your family that this is going to be the holiday you probably celebrate with them. Last Thanksgiving, you never know when the last one is. And so I also have to make a conscious decision to be present in the moment. Yeah. To understand that there are things that are terrible, things that are going to affect me negatively, things that are going to affect people I love negatively. But at the same time, I have to fight for my happiness and fight for my joy and make sure that these kids have some memories rather than a bummed out dad walking around muttering that the world is falling apart, because it always kind of is. Yes. All over the world, things are a mess. This is our local mess. So I just try to understand that I play a part in my kids' lives, and also my mental health is necessary for this job and necessary to be a father. So I try to play both sides, but I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah. That's just and I get what you're saying too, and I get what they're saying, and I think everyone has the right to speak their mind. Yes. But some people get fired for speaking their mind, and other people get applauded for speaking their mind. That's kind of the point that I was going at, but I do appreciate what you said, Al. Coming up on DBL, Dr. Coley is here live talking about what you can do for a healthier heart.
The is the most commonly used word in the English language, according to the makers of the Oxford English Dictionary. Just count how many times you hear it during this story. In June, headlines proclaimed The Ohio State University trademarked the word the, prompting confusion from some Twitter users about what exactly that means. So, let's verify. Does The Ohio State University now own the word the? Our sources are the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, The Ohio State University, and trademark filings by OSU and designer Marc Jacobs. In 1878, the Ohio legislature renamed the state's manufacturing and agriculture university as The Ohio State University, meaning the is part of the school's legal name. But use of the word the in the school's name didn't become popular until the 1990s, and today, OSU sells clothing promoting the in The Ohio State University, and it's emphasized by its athletes, alumni, and fans. In late June, OSU was granted an actual trademark for the word the, written in all caps. However, this does not mean the Buckeyes own the word the. The Patent and Trademark Office explains that trademarks only cover how that word or phrase is used with your specific goods or services. Ohio State says it only filed the trademark because designer Marc Jacobs had filed a trademark application for the same word, and it was concerned it could interfere with its merchandise. Both sides later came to an agreement that allows them both to use "the" on their merchandise. So, no, the Ohio State University doesn't own the word "the." It has a trademark that only applies to athletic wear, which prevents other universities, like, say, the University of Michigan, from selling apparel with its logo and in all caps "the." With your Verify and 40 These later, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Steph explaining that I'm going to get married soon. Steph over there. All right, welcome back to DBL. For anyone still full from the 4th of July cookout, so you have nothing on this year's Nathan's hot dog eating champ, who managed to eat 63 hot dogs and buns in just 10 minutes. We're chatting with Dr. Coley about that. And more shaking her head. Dr. Coley, let's get right into it. You're into it. Although we don't recommend this, of course, it's an American tradition. Again, of course, how can one train to compete in an eating competition, and what are the health risks? Even though we don't condone it, how do we get started?
Don't get started. Do not train for this, guys. I can't believe that in 2022 we're still having hot dog eating competitions. We've had people die 2014 from hot dogs, 2016. So you think about it, you're stuffing food in as quickly as you can without chewing it. So what is the biggest health risk in that setting? It's choking. And both of these deaths were actually choking deaths, where big pieces of hot dog and bun got stuck and they were unable to resuscitate the person. They had brain injury afterwards. You can get tongue biting, you can get finger biting. You're drinking all this water, you're dipping the hot dogs in the water.
Yeah, they do that so it slips down.
That's really gross. Yes. That's the thing that gets me when they did. I don't like wet bread, period. No, I don't like wet bread ever, you know?
But all that water can cause water poisoning or water intoxication, which can lead to seizures and coma. And then in the long term, you're stuffing 63 hot dogs, was it?
In 10 minutes.
Okay, so the stomach's like a water balloon. Think of it getting stretched more and more and more. So when you stretch it out that much, you overstretch it, it doesn't bounce back. So the muscles in the wall of the stomach that normally propel our food down, those go bad, and this can cause long-term problems as well.
Literally, I went to one of those. We filmed it here at Daily Blast Live, and it was one of the most disturbing experiences of my entire life, first of all. And they don't just do it on the day. They do all these warm-ups beforehand, so it's not just 63 on the day. They're going hard.
Yeah.
They're going hard.
Why can't they have a vegetable eating contest? That's
That'd be
what I
nicer,
wanna know.
wouldn't it?
I don't know if people would show up as much for that.
No, I don't think so. Oh, Dr. Coley, so my next question isn't as disturbing or disgusting. It is about sleep, one of my favourite things. So the American Heart Association added sleep to their heart health checklist. So what are some of the other changes we should know about?
Yeah, so sleep really important. They said we have to have 7 to 9 hours as adults, which I try to get. I don't know about you guys. Yeah?
If I get less than 9, I'm not a happy girl.
If I get 8, I'm golden.
Good.
Yeah.
Eight is the magic number.
Good. You guys are all getting that. So essentially what they did is they created a scoring system. And I want every single one of us to do this scoring system, because it tells us, you can use it all the way down to 2 years old. So you can even do it on your kids, Jeff, exactly whether or not we're hitting on 8 different parameters. It's called Life's Essential 8. Gives us a score from 0 to 100 of how healthy our heart is. And if you get a score greater than 80, that means you have high cardiovascular health. The average American has a 62.5. So they don't have very good cardiovascular health, but it tells us there's a lot we can do to change our behavior to improve our heart health.
But what would you say the number one thing? Is it sleep? Is it walking after dinner? I feel like walking after dinner is really good and really underrated.
Walking after dinner is actually really shown to help digest your food, and it helps prevent that sugar spike that occurs after we eat. So that's great. But for lifestyle habits and for things that are inherent to us. So the lifestyle habit was diet, what we're eating, physical activity, how much we're sleeping, and whether we're exposed to nicotine. And this can be secondhand smoke or vaping or going to clubs or anything. Those are all modifiable. The 4 that are not modifiable: body mass index, how our height and our weight, our blood pressure, our cholesterol, and our blood sugar. So, but the good thing is that if we do all the right things and score high on this, we can actually overcome the genetic predisposition that we have.
Oh, that's possible.
Yes, and that's what we really want to motivate.
I'll take it.
So what you're saying is only 30 hot dogs instead of 63 at a contest.
Don't be gluttonous.
Yeah. Don't be a show off. All right, Dr. Coley.
Dr. Coley's vegetables.
So,
eat off.
Yeah, me and Al are going to have a carrot off after this. Thank you so much for providing all this information. If you have any questions you would like Dr. Coley to answer, write us on social media or send an email to info@dailyblastlive.com. Thank you again, Doc. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
If you're feeling like you want to cry every time you fill up your car with gas, you're not alone. We're at just under $5 a gallon here in the DC Metro, according to AAA. And there's been a lot of finger pointing about who's to blame. Some people have criticized America's dependence on foreign oil, saying if President Biden focused on domestic oil production, gas prices would be lower. Meanwhile, others are claiming that the U.S. oil production level is higher under President Biden than under any other president.
Under this president, the country is producing more oil on average than it did during the Bush, Obama, or Trump administrations.
So let's verify. Is oil production higher under the Biden presidency than previous administrations? We spoke with Patrick DeHaan from GasBuddy, Ed Hers, an energy fellow at the University of Houston, Mark Finley from Rice University, and we looked at numbers from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. First and foremost, our experts say presidents don't control oil production.
I have a hard time accepting any presidential comparison because a lot of the time, a president has no control over oil production in this country.
These are the result of independent investment decisions made by privately held companies.
As for data, we found that domestic production reached its highest point ever in early 2020 while President Trump was in office, over 13 million barrels of oil produced a day. But if you compare the oil production average over the course of a presidency, it's technically highest under President Biden. According to EIA statistics, on average, oil production reached just over 11 million barrels a day during the Trump administration, and so far with 14 months of available data, it's 11.2 million barrels a day during the Biden administration. So we can verify that technically these claims are true. But keep in mind, crude oil is only a part of the equation.
The biggest change by far is that the cost of refining, the margins that refiners get for processing crude oil into gasoline has risen very sharply.
With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Are your old CDs ready to be dusted off? Let's connect the dots. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, CDs saw an increase in sales. Over 46.6 million CDs were shipped around the country last year. Still a long way from the compact disc's selling peak. Last year, CDs only made up about 4% of total music revenue. Despite that, experts say the increase in sales is mostly due to mega artists like Adele and BTS releasing new albums. Music experts also think more people see CDs as memorabilia rather than just a way to play music. So, how can you get back into the CD game? For most albums, you'll still be able to pick them up at Target or even a Walmart. And you may already have a CD player around your home. Game systems like the Xbox One have a CD feature built in, and desktop computers can also play your favorite albums. And that is Connecting Dots.
DBL is all new every day.
Welcome back. We're out of time, but I do want to wish my friends a very happy birthday. Yeah, Congratulations, Steph, on the engagement.
Yeah.